Let me introduce myself. I am S.M. Saifullah Shakil, lecturer, Department of English, Cambrian College, Chattogram. What do you think in the picture here? What is the picture about? How about this image? Can you relate these two images? Is it related to something from rural Bengal? Or? Yes, I think you are right. Today's lesson would be about Bengal's face. Okay, Unit 14, Myths and Literature, Lesson 1, Bengal's face. Actually, we will go through a poem today from a very famous poet. Can you name him? I think you can. He is Jivanananda Das, born 1899, died 1954. And he has a very, very famous poem. He has many famous poems, one of whose is I have seen Bengal's face. Actually, the poem is in Bengali, Banglar Mukh Ami Dekhiachi, and its English translated form is given in your English for Today textbook. So, for clarity's purpose, for clarity's sake, I will also use some Bengali just for clarifying some very sophisticated things that I think cannot actually be expressed totally, wholeheartedly in English. Okay. First, let us see the Bengali form of the poem. Okay. Let us recite a bit, and then we will go to the English form and the explanations. Banglar mukh ami dekhiachi, তাই আমি পৃথিবীর রূপ খুঁজিতে যাই না আর, অন্ধকারে জেগে উঠে ডুমুরের গাছে চেয়ে দেখি ছাতার মতন বড় পাতাটির নিচে বসে আছে ভোরের দোয়েল পাখি। চারদিকে চেয়ে দেখি পল্লবের স্তূপ, জাম বট কাঁঠালের হিজলের অশ্বথের করে আছে চুপ, ফণি মনসার ঝোপে সটি বনে তাহাদের ছায়া পড়িয়াছে, মধুকর ডিঙা থেকে না জানি সে কবে চাঁদ চম্পার কাছে এমনই হিজল বর্তমালের নীল ছায়া বাংলার অপরূপ রূপ দেখেছিল। বেহুলাও একদিন গাঙুরের জলে ভেলা নিয়ে কৃষ্ণা দ্বাদশীর জ্যোৎস্না যখন মরিয়া গেছে নদীর চড়ায়, সোনালি ধানের পাশে অসংখ্য অশ্বত্থ বট দেখেছিল। হায়, শ্যামার নরম গান শুনেছিল। একদিন অমরায় গিয়ে ছিন্ন খঞ্জনার মতো যখন সে নেচেছিল ইন্দ্রের সভায়, বাংলার নদী মাঠ ভাটফুল ঘুঙুরের মতো তার কেঁদেছিল পায়। Very touching poem actually, and here we will also have to know some mythological things to explain the poem. For example, here the word Chand is not the moon he expressed, he is actually a character from mythology. So, if we do not know the mythology or some form or somewhat briefly, we cannot actually understand many of these metaphors. Okay, so when we reach there in this line, we will explain, we will tell you a story, and this will be in Bengali. So, the first verse is Banglar mukh ami dekhiachi, tai ami prithibir roop khujite jai na ar. What is the English translated form? Because I have seen Bengal's face. Bengal's face is so beautiful, so charming, so enchanting that I do not need to see anything elsewhere, because it is the epitome of beauty. It is the ultimate beauty. What is ultimate beauty? The Bengal. So, because I have seen Bengal's face, I will seek no more. I will not go further to see any more beauty. The world has not anything more beautiful to show me. The world has shown me enough when I see around Bengal, the rural Bengal in particular. And then, অন্ধকারে জেগে ওঠে ডুমুরের গাছে চেয়ে দেখি ছাতার মতন বড় পাতাটির নিচে বসে আছে ভোরের দোয়েল পাখি। What is the English form? Waking up in the darkness. When you actually wake up very early in the morning when the sun isn't actually up yet, then you can see some darkness around. Okay, so waking up in darkness, gazing, looking at the fig tree. Fig means dumur. Okay, this is the fruit fig and this is a fig tree. The fruit is not very common in Bangladesh. It is common in mostly in Middle Eastern countries, Arabian countries. So, actually there is a surah in the Holy Quran about this fruit. This fruit is called teen in Arabic, and there is a surah called Ateen. You can actually go through the surah after the class. Okay, so gazing at the fig tree, I behold dawn's swallows roosting under huge umbrella-like leaves. The leaf of a fig tree is actually somewhat bigger than regular trees. That's why the poet is stated that it was a huge umbrella-like tree leaves, and he saw dawn's swallows. Swallow, though here the word dwell is meant here, there is some differences actually. You can search for swallow in Google, Okay, so he saw dawn swallow roosting, resting. Roost means resting under huge umbrella-like leaves. He is creating an imagery. You have to visualize it. You have to close your eyes and visualize the scenery he is portraying for you. Okay? চারিদিকে চেয়ে দেখি পল্লবের স্তূপ. Pallab means leaves. Stoop, heap or a gathering. Okay? Tree heap or a leaf heap. পল্লবের স্তূপ, জাম বট কাঁঠালের হিজলের অশ্বথেরে করে আছে চুপ. Everything is silent. It is very early in the morning. There is no hustle and bustle anywhere. There is no noise nearby. So everything is very tranquil, very quiet. Okay, I look around me. I'm gazing all around me and discover I can see a leafy dome. And which leaf gathered here? Leaf from jam, kathal. You know jam. Okay, kathal, bot, the bot tree, and hijol. This is a hijol tree, and oshot. Oshot is very similar to bot, but not exactly the same. Trees, all in a hush, all are in very silence. Okay. Then, ফণী মনসার ঝোপে সটি বনে তাহাদের ছায়া পড়িয়াছে. What is ফণী মনসা? ফণী মনসা means cactus. There is a bush of cactus. Clumps means bush. Shadowing clumps of cactus and zedwari bushes. Zedwari means shotibon. This is a zedwari flower. Okay, this kind of clumps or bush is called zedwari bushes, or in Bengali it is shotibon. মধুকর ডিঙা থেকে না জানি সে কবে চাঁদ চম্পার কাছে এমনই হিজল বট তমালের নীল ছায়া বাংলার অপরূপ রূপ দেখেছিল. Okay, now we have to tell you a story about Chand Saudagar. Who is Chand Saudagar? He is a mythical character in Indian mythology, and he is a worshipper of the god Shiv. Okay, সে ছিল শিব পূজারী এবং শিবের সে খুবই ভক্ত ছিল. ইনফ্যাক্ট হি ওয়াজ দ্য মোস্ট ফেমাস শিব ওয়ার্শিপার ইন দ্যাট পিরিয়ড. সো শিব হ্যাড এ ডটার কল্ড মনসা, অ্যান্ড মনসা ওয়াজ দ্য গডেস অফ স্নেক, সাপের দেবী. সো ওয়েন and at that time there were no worship being done for Manusha in the world. পৃথিবীতে তখন মনসার কোনো পূজা হতো না, but Manusha wanted to be worshipped. So she went to her father. She expressed her desire and said that I want my worship to be done in the world. So Shiv told him, if any devout Shiv worshipper start worshipping you, there will be I will make a tradition of Manusha Puja. So Manusha searched throughout the world and found that Chand Saudagar was the person who is the greatest Shiv worshipper in the world. She went to him, to Chand Saudagar, and asked him to worship her, but he refused. Chand Saudagar refused, and Manusha actually tried to convince him in many ways, but in vain. Then Manusha cursed Chand Saudagar and said, all of your children will die eventually, will die soon. And actually that happened. All 6 children of Chand Saudagar died out of poison. Okay. Then there were 2 worshipper of Manusha in the heaven, okay, Aniruddha and Usha. They actually saw the sufferings of Chand Saudagar from heaven, and they agreed to be born in the world as Lokhinder and Behula. Lokhinder was the son of Chand Saudagar, and Behula was the daughter of a friend and business partner of Chand Saudagar, and they were actually dancer. Aniruddha and Usha were actually dancer from heaven. Okay, so you can imagine how good they are in dance. And when they born as human in this world and grew up together, they actually remain very close together. Everyone can feel a connection between them, between Lokhinder and Usha, Lokhinder and Behula. Then there were a marriage was arranged between them, but before the marriage they actually went to a foreteller, a future teller, and said, and they saw that Lokhinder will die in his wedding night. And actually there was a curse from Manusha, and Chand Saudagar actually built a house out of metal, out of iron, and there were no way. He tried to make sure there would be no way that a snake can enter in that room. But the room was built by the heavenly person named Vishwakarma, and Manusha actually inspired Vishwakarma to keep a hole in the iron room, and through that hole a snake entered the room and struck home Lokhinder, and he was in very much pain. He died in pain, and there were a tradition to the people who died in snake bite. They would be put on a raft or bhala in Bengali, and they actually left them in the river. But Behula wasn't ready to leave Lokhinder, and so she hopped on the raft and kept Lokhinder company. After that, they actually moved with the raft, and after a very long period, the foster mother of Manusha named Nita, she saw the sufferings of the girl, and she agreed to take them to heaven, to Indra, the god Indra. And Indra actually agreed to request Manusha to revive Lokhinder on one condition, that she has to please Indra with her dance. Okay, and she actually succeeded in her attempt. After that, Manusha gave back life to Lokhinder only if Chand Saudagar agreed to worship her. Then Chand Saudagar heard everything and he agreed to worship Manusha and started the tradition. Okay, that's the mythology. Now come to the poem. Madhukar Dinga is a boat named, here it is translated as honeycomb boat. মধুকর ডিঙা থেকে না জানি সে কবে চাঁদ চম্পার কাছে, Champaknagar was the place where Chand Saudagar was based on. Okay, মধুকর ডিঙা থেকে না জানি সে কবে চাঁদ চম্পার কাছে এমনই হিজল বট তমালের নীল ছায়া বাংলার অপরূপ রূপ দেখেছিল. When long ago Chand came in his honeycomb boat to a blue hijol bot and tamal shade near the Champaknagar, he too sighted Bengal's incomparable beauty. He saw from Champaknagar that Bengal is so beautiful that nothing is comparable to its beauty. বেহুলাও একদিন গাঙুরের জলে ভেলা নিয়ে কৃষ্ণা দ্বাদশীর জ্যোৎস্না যখন মরিয়া গেছে নদীর চড়ায় সোনালী ধানের পাশে অসংখ্য অশ্বত বট দেখেছিল হায় শ্যামার নরম গান শুনেছিল. So Behula, the heavenly Usha, when she went in a raft with her dead husband in a raft in Bhela, and Krishna Dadoshi, Krishna Pokho means when the sun, after Purnima, the sun actually started to reduce in size, and that period is called Krishna Pokho. And the 12th day of Krishna Pokho is Krishna Dadoshi. Krishna Dadoshi জ্যোৎস্না যখন মরিয়া গেছে নদীর চড়ায়, যখন জ্যোৎস্নার আলোটা মিয়ে গেছে নদীর উপকূলে এসে সোনালী ধানের পাশে অসংখ্য অশ্বত বট দেখেছিল হায়. কে দেখেছিল? Who saw? বেহুলা শ্যামার নরম গান শুনেছিল. She heard the soft song of the bird Shama, or here it is translated as thrush. One day, alas, in the Ganguri was the name of the river, on a raft, as the waning moon sank, the moon that is getting smaller in size, sank in the river's sandbanks, Behula too saw countless অশ্বত bot beside golden rice field, সোনালী ধানের মাঠ, and heard the thrush's soft song. Here we can see a raft, and then একদিন অমরায় গিয়ে ছিন্ন খঞ্জনার মতো যখন সে নেচেছিল ইন্দ্রের সভায় বাংলার নদী মাঠ ভাটফুল ঘুঙুরের মতো তার কেঁদেছিল পায়. One day, arriving at Amora was the heavenly place where the god Indra conduct his court. Okay, so arriving in Amora, the foster mother of Manusha took them to Amora to meet the god Indra. When they arrived in Amora, where gods held court, she danced like a desolate wagtail. Wagtail means duel. Here it is said Konjana. Chinno, actually they are generally wagtails remain in pair, and when the poet meant Chinno Konjana, that means single, she is desolate, her husband died. Okay, desolate wagtail. Bengal's rivers, fields, flowers wailed means to express sadness in a verbal way. Wagtail like its strings of bells on her feet. So here is a bhatful, and this is called ghungur. Okay, so wailed like its strings of bells on her feet. So her dance was so nice that it is compared to the Bengal's beauty. I hope you enjoyed the class. You can write the summary of the text, summary of the poem, and the theme of the poem as your homework. Until next class, Allah Hafiz, Assalamu Alaikum.